Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J-Dub. Let's get to it. If anybody knows me, you guys know me, you know I'm a huge fan of the big man. I think the big fella is the best player. The best players that ever played the game are big guys. The best teams that the NBA has ever seen have been powered by the big man. I thought that before these playoffs started, Philadelphia was going to go as far as Joel Embiid took them. And I feel the same way about the Los Angeles Lakers. They're going to go as far as Anthony Davis takes them. Same thing with the Denver Nuggets. They have themselves a load and a big man in Joker, 100%. And this is a battle of the Titans. And I understand, in theory, I understand why Darvin Ham started Schroeder. Now, hear me out. So, the idea is to start Schroeder so you can slow down the Denver Nuggets transition game. That's the idea. Because the Denver Nuggets play so fast. Not only do they play fast, they're efficient in playing fast. There are a lot of teams that play fast, like the Houston Rockets play fast, but they're throwing the ball in the second row. The Detroit Pistons try to play fast, but they're just turning the ball over all over the place. The Denver Nuggets don't do that. They play fast, and they're efficient in playing fast. They're great in getting guys the ball and stop and pop in transition, getting easy layups because Joker's running to the rim. Joker is also getting guys to run, getting the ball to guys in easy runouts. Jamal Murray is speeding up the game. So the idea is to get Dennis Schroeder for the pickup point to be higher. So basically at the foul line on the other end, basically what Drew Holiday did with Chris Paul in the 2021 finals. That's how we're going to slow their transition game down. So in theory, it's actually a good idea. It does make a lot of sense. And we're going to bring Vando off the bench. And Vando is now going to be more efficient defensively in the half court. And he's just going to enhance what we're doing defensively in transition. Well, the problem is that now because you're small, you're getting beat up on the backboard. I believe Michael Porter Jr., I think he has 7 rebounds in the first half. So immediately I'm thinking to myself as a guard, because I'm watching Anthony Davis battle with Joker. And I'm thinking to myself as a guard, you got to get in there and help him. You cannot just leave him in there by himself with Joker to rebound. You got to get in there and help him. He needs help with him. Well, the problem with that is Schroeder is small, and Schroeder isn't one of the better rebounders. D'Angelo Russell is not one of the better rebounders. And when you're going to go up against a team like the Denver Nuggets, you got to gang rebound because they're huge. KCP, he's 6'6". Michael Porter, 6'10". Gordon, 6'10". Joker, 7 foot. So when you come in with D'Angelo Russell, who's 6'4", when you come in with Schroeder, who's 6'1", if you're not going to get in there and rebound, you're going to be at a disadvantage, which is what happened. Which is exactly what happened. If you have a guy in Joker, Joker. If you have a guy in Joker that's that efficient as a passer, there has to be ball pressure on him. What I equate it to is I equate it to a quarterback. If you let Tom Brady just sit in the pocket and throw all night, he's going to destroy you. Go ahead and let Aaron Rodgers, go ahead and let Patrick Mahomes sit in the pocket all night and just pick where he wants to throw. He's going to destroy you. Well, that's what happened last night early with Joker. That's what happened last night early with Joker, where Joker's not really, Anthony Davis isn't putting much ball pressure on him. And the Denver Nuggets are so good off the basketball. Their action off the basketball is so good, where you got KCP diving, you got back picks between Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon, which is freeing up Aaron Gordon to either get a layup or to now be put in position to rebound. And when you got stuff like that going on off the basketball, Joker gets to pick and choose wherever he wants to go, and it works. But there was an adjustment in the second half, because in the first half, the Los Angeles Lakers defense, their transition defense in particular, was the worst. It was the worst that I'd seen all season. Denver had just sped the game up, not just fast enough where we could just get whatever we want. There was no communication, Nobody calling out who they're covering. No coverage. I got up top. Joker's running. There was none of that. Nobody picking up the ball. Bruce Brown running down the gut. That transition defense was some of the worst that I'd seen from them this season. And then you get into the half court where Denver just got whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. In the first half, almost in the first three quarters, they got whatever they wanted. I think they shot 57% in the first three quarters, 50% from the three. That's largely due to Joker and Jamal Murray playing in pick and roll action. When you're playing that far in pick and roll action, those two guys at the top of the key, one of two things has to happen. If Schroeder is chasing, Anthony Davis has to hedge. And it's got to be a hard hedge. You can't chase him. And the reason why you can't chase him, because Joker is so good at either diving to the basket, or not just diving to the basket, either popping. And when he pops and has the ball and he's wide open 17 feet, you get to pick your poison. So with that pick and roll action at the top of the key, what has to happen is Anthony Davis has to hedge hard, which is what he did in the second half. He hedged hard. And with him hedging hard, now Jamal Murray has to make a decision, has to get off the basketball quicker. He's got to get off the basketball quicker. But early, Denver just got whatever they wanted. Jamal Murray is coming off picks, down screens, 17 feet, wide open. Jamal Murray is coming off action, off ball screen action, on the elbow, 16 feet, wide open. If you're going to let them do that all night, you have no shot whatsoever. You have none. Now, I thought Joker did a great job in speeding the game up and making Anthony Davis work in transition. I thought he did a good job in that because that really opened up their offense. But now on the flip side to that, was that Anthony Davis really put pressure on Joker to defend. Because with him putting pressure on Joker to defend, that took away from a lot of his ability to rebound, which would explain why in the second half, he only had 5 rebounds. That's it. 5 rebounds. Them 21 rebounds that you saw, that was early on. That was early on. And the reason why, like I said, the reason why that was early on was because of what they were doing in that offense. In the second half, he only had 5 rebounds. The adjustment was Anthony Davis now putting a lot of pressure on him offensively. Which wore him down. And he wasn't able to rebound as much. And the Lakers started to gang rebound even more. They out-rebounded Denver in the second half. I think it was +5. And with that being said, Austin Reeves gave them good minutes. Rui gave them fantastic minutes off the bench. Rui sticking with that pick and pop at the 17-foot line, them getting him in transition. I thought Lonnie Walker gave them some good minutes too. I did. I think that they have to find more minutes just defensively for Vando. Vando really doesn't give them much offensively, and I understand that. But from a defensive standpoint, they got to find minutes for him. They have to. Because if you're going to let Denver just get whatever they want early, you're going to be behind the 8 ball the whole game. I mean, and the Lakers spent a huge part of the game getting back in the game. One of the things that I thought was huge for them getting back in the game, and it obviously wore Jamal Murray down, was getting James in the post. They got Jamal Murray switched on to James, and James just started to back him down and just punish him. And it obviously wore him down late in the game. It obviously did, because he wasn't as efficient. No, he wasn't. He wasn't as efficient. Not only was he not as efficient, their transition game slowed down. I thought that was a really good thing. Also, man, I have such a difficult time watching teams that have a big man like what Denver does. I have a difficult time watching teams like the Lakers who have a really good big man when they don't get action off the basketball. That's why Denver is so good. Because they get so much action off the ball. When Anthony Davis gets the ball or when James gets the ball on the block, James being the passer that he is out the double, there should be way more action off the basketball than it is, but it's not. And that's not that difficult to guard when you got a guy like that. If you guys are just going to stand around and just watch, then immediately the double's going to come. And more than likely, you're going to get turnovers. I thought that I thought that the Lakers did a great job in climbing back into that game yesterday by getting stops, holding them to one shot, not fouling, and they also did a great job in taking care of the basketball. That's key, especially in the playoffs, because you don't get a lot of opportunities. You don't get a lot of opportunities to score. Again, when you're talking about the playoffs, you're talking about teams that solely concentrate on you and you only. And when they concentrate on you and you only, they find out what you can and can't do. And whatever you can't do, they exploit that. So, for example, I thought the Lakers' off-ball defense was terrible. And it was, what I don't want to do is I don't want to minimize it, but simple stuff like swinging your head when it's ball, you man, when a guy is diving to the basket. Swinging your head and keeping your hand in the passing lane. But instead, Rui's missing. Rui doesn't know where KCP is because he's ball watching. Schroeder doesn't know where Brown is because he's ball watching. These are fundamental things that, as a basketball player, you should know these things, right? You should know these things. That way, when you're on the defense, you could be successful, only except the game was so fast and these little details, these small details that the Lakers don't pay attention to were the things that cost them. 100% they cost them. With all of that being said, they were able to fight and get back in the game. I love that action between James and Austin Reeves. There's a play that they run where James is the lead guard. Anthony Davis is on the block. Austin Reeves is Austin Reeves is on a pin down with him. So Anthony Davis comes and sets the back screen. What Austin Reeves does is Austin Reeves he curls, and Anthony Davis rescreens, and he pops right to the long ball line, and he's wide open. Wide open. I think that's great action. That's one of the things that got them back in the game. There was another play that they ran where James has the ball on the block. With James having the ball on the block, Austin Reeves is in the corner. Dennis Schroeder dives to the basket. With Dennis Schroeder diving to the basket, they pay attention to Dennis Schroeder diving to the basket. Now Jamal Murray, who's covering James, MPJ, who's covering Austin Reeves, is now ball watching. He's paying attention to the action of Schroeder diving to the basket. Now Austin Reeves shifts right to the top. He loses him. That's a wide open shot. That's in rhythm right there. That's the kind of action that you have to get off the basketball regularly in order to keep Denver on the defense. If you have a lot of standing around, then what's going to happen is you're going to get turnovers. You're going to get bad shots. And you're not going to be in a position to rebound offensively. This is going to be a great series. I had a buddy of mine say to me that he thought that maybe with that 22-point lead, that the Lakers should have sat their guys for the rest of the half and just gave this game away. I was completely in disagreement with that. And I was just in disagreement with that because, they got back in the game. They got right back in the game. And it was a one-possession game with 2 minutes. We're right back in it. And if you're worried about playing a lot of minutes, then you're worried about the wrong thing. And the reason why I say that is because we're at a point now in the season where this is the time where you have to play the most. You have to play the most at this time. And if you don't think that 40 minutes is too much, then we're in the wrong space. Because again, like I said, man, you can rest in the offseason. That's when you can rest. This is the time to win. And if that means I got to play 40 minutes, if that means I got to play 45 minutes, no problem. I watched Kobe Bryant play 41 minutes a game in the playoffs. I watched Shaq play 40 minutes a game in the playoffs. I watched Jordan play over 40 minutes. Sometimes almost every game. So it's clear that you're going to have to play heavy minutes. This is a great series, man. I said earlier that I thought that the Lakers could make quick work of these dudes. And I think that Denver, they ran out of gas at the end. But the Lakers allowed them to jump on them early, and that was the difference in the game. That has to be an adjustment that has to be made. And I think that they'll make that. So it's the playoffs, man, and I'm here for it. So you guys know where to find me, and I will be here. But until then, Take it light, but take it.